listening to the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast with your hosts, Sir Colin Campbell and Gary A. McGowan.
Good afternoon. It's your host, Sir Colin Campbell, alongside Gary A. McGowan, and you're tuned into the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast. We have a special guest in the studio today, someone who's built his business and expanded his business during this COVID time. None other than Colby Carter. Welcome, Mr. Carter.
There he is.
My man.
Hello, gentlemen. Thanks so much for having me here.
Welcome.
And
what is up?
I love that you're in the studio. You must be in the virtual studio or just, outside around the corner type thing, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. This is part of our social life now, get together online. Like, can't see people in person anymore, so this is wonderful.
Yeah, It's all good. So I feel like I'm the guy entering your friendship, and this is pretty cool. So you guys really have only met maybe 2 or 3 months ago through a really cool way. I've heard Colin's scenario or the story of it. I'd love to get your story of it, Colby.
Well, I mean, what's there to say other than there was this beautiful man that came up on screen at a Tony Robbins event.
Nice.
I saw this guy and he came on. I mean, his charisma, I was like, I gotta know this guy. And when I found out that he was actually like an agent in Toronto, I was like, I gotta reach out to him. We should connect. Like, that's what Tony Robbins is all about. Talks about proximity is power, like your network and who you have. And so when I found out this guy was right near me, I sent him a message on Instagram. I was like, dude, you're a rock star. I loved what your message was on Tony Robbins. And that's kind of, that was only a few months ago?
Yeah, that was a couple of months ago. That was an amazing session there. I'm still, as I review my notes from that Tony Robbins session, it's like, I need to implement this. It was such a powerful session, and I'm so grateful that we were able to connect via that. So kudos to you, man. And great for taking that initiative to reach out, because a lot of the times we go to, these seminars and we see great people, whether they're talking on stage or wherever it is, and we never really take that step to reach out to say, hey, you're somebody that I would like to have in my circle. And the moment you did that, the feeling was definitely a mutual feeling like, shit, I need to get to know this guy. Here's a guy who's doing great things in his business. Yeah, I want this guy to be in my circle. So it's a mutual feeling. So that's our story there, Gare.
Well, and how crazy is that? Because that Tony Robbins event, he might host 1 or 2 a year the way in its current format. And okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that a worldwide event?
Yeah.
Okay, so not only is it worldwide, but you kind of met a guy almost like in your own backyard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Because Colin and I had some other friends attend it, like a Lucy Parker, who's at a Dubai and so forth. And it was really, I remember that event. Although I didn't attend, I felt like I attended some of it because everyone is like posting photos and posting stuff. It was pretty cool. And then not only was Colin sending me stuff, but I had other friends, as you can imagine, Colby, sending me photos of this dude over there. On screen, just as you said. I'm like, what the? Of course he's on screen with Tony.
Yeah.
He's world famous now. He's world famous. And it's kind of like, it's strange, but I actually met Lucy as well. She was part of the group that I was in for Tony Robbins.
Shut up.
She actually reached out and sent me an email after the event.
That's amazing. That is so
Look
cool.
at that.
Love it.
Small world, man. Small world.
Love it.
And that is the beauty about the internet, because no matter where we are on this, big blue ball that is floating around in space, with technology, we're so much more connected now, right? So here it is. We're all doing this course that Tony Robbins is putting on, and we're at opposite end of the globe. And we're able to connect with people, and we feel like we know them. You and I have never met physically, right?
Yeah.
But on Zoom now, it seems like I've known this guy for some time now. And then you go back, oh, it's only been a couple of months, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's I'm super, super grateful that they could make the events virtual. Seeing what they put into it and like kind of what we talked about previously, how every single entrepreneur has had to pivot during this. Like Tony's used to throwing like 10, 20,000 person live events. Like his whole thing is having it live. So to switch it to such an intimate atmosphere, all done virtually with that many people, like it's pretty extraordinary if you think about it.
Yeah, it is awesome. So let's learn a little bit about Colby and your business, your background. Give us that kind of 60-second bio of who Colby Carter is.
And okay, I'll try to skip all like the boom parts. Well, I moved from Vancouver to Toronto about 2.5 years ago. Born and bred BC boy. Had been in professional sales for most of my life, ever since I was about 18 years old. I worked for some luxury companies while I was in Vancouver. Came out to Toronto because I wanted a different change of pace. You know, it's more fast paced out here as opposed to the West Coast, which is a bit more laid back. And I told myself, I'll go to Toronto for a year, I'll hustle and bustle, and then when I'm successful, maybe I'll go back home to Vancouver. Anyways, here I am almost 3 years later, 2 businesses later as well, absolutely loving it. To talk a little bit about my business, Movement Sports, we sell fitness equipment that's made for people with small gym spaces. As everybody listening, and of course you guys know as well, it's impossible to work now. They don't exist. So I saw a niche in COVID, and I started working really closely with suppliers and bringing over these like special equipment that's meant for like homes, condos, just more accessibility, you know, at home as opposed to like going to the gym all the time.
Okay, so it's rare, Colin, and I'm sure you, Colby, for sure, that you actually meet somebody that's from Vancouver to move to Toronto. Because how many Toronto implants do we have out in Vancouver? I had been one of them twice on occasion. But so you came to Toronto because what? Like you were saying, you saw perhaps a different opportunity or a bigger opportunity, or talk to us a little bit about that, Carter or Colby.
Yeah, so I just honestly wanted a change of pace. I had never been to Toronto my entire life. Like many Torontonians, haven't been to Vancouver. But I came here, what was it, October 2018, or August 2018, sorry, for 3 days. Absolutely fell in love with the city, fell in love with the vibe, the people, the food. And then a month and a half later, man, I got on a plane. I moved here. I didn't even have a place to live when I landed here. I had a real estate agent who's wonderful, was helping me find a place. And when I landed, she's like, Colby, guess what? You got accepted into a place. But yeah, man, it was just the overall vibe, feel of Toronto, wanting something new, my comfort zone to try and grow. And it's treated me very, very well. I have a great group of friends here, a great network. That's why I had no desire to leave yet. And I'm here so much longer later.
Wow. No, that is quite interesting. Now, help us understand what type of crazy is that for you to just figure you're going to leave BC, nowhere to live, and you're going to just jump without a parachute and just pray to God that something opens up or something catches you. Help us understand that mindset, that entrepreneurial mindset that, you know what, I'm going to just jump and things are going to unfold. I'm going to trust in myself. I'm going to trust, you know, in the ultimate power, whatever that is.
The best example I can give weekend. I have an almost 1-year-old puppy that my girlfriend and I got a year ago. And I was like, I'm a huge water person. I love the lake. Growing up in BC, I would always go swimming. And so I was like, no matter what, this dog is going to learn how to swim. So the last weekend, we went to Cherry Beach. They have this great dog park area. And I was like, okay, I'm going to teach the pup how to swim. So we were out there for 45 minutes. And my whole mindset was like, dude, his name's Asher. He's a cute little guy. Sink or swim. And that's kind of like, that's like my whole mindset as well. It's like, if you throw yourself into the deep end, it's like you're either going to learn how to swim real quick or you're going to sink real quick. And moving to Toronto, I didn't give myself many options except to start doing well, hustling more and committing to what I really wanted.
That's commendable, man. That is commendable.
Yeah.
Some
For
might
both,
say a little spontaneous and stupid, but to each their own.
well, and that's kind of the theme of today's show is the entrepreneurial spirit, right? And I think that's the entrepreneurial in a lot of people. Not to say it's sink or swim, but it really is just trying new things. And I was watching a video just yesterday, in fact, John Maxwell. We all love John Maxwell.
Yep.
And the name of the video, I kind of laughed, was Fresh. And I'm like, okay, where are you going with this, John? But his thought process was, we need to surround ourselves with new, fresh ideas, with new people all the time. In a sense, that's kind of what you guys have just done, right? With this friendship and allowing each other and those new people in your life to add new, fresh ideas. And that's exactly what you did, Colby, like 2-3 years ago, just jumping in and seeing an opportunity because you wanted more for your life, in a sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, so far my entire life, like I've been very spontaneous with most of my decisions. Like I'm definitely like a gut over like thinking type of person. Like I'll just follow my gut. If I feel like something's right, it hasn't really led me wrong before. Yeah, there's been lots of learning experiences. Like you said, sinking isn't really like sinking. It's not failure. It's just another lesson you can learn to take on to your next business or whatever your sort of like aspirations are. But yeah, man, I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So now walk us through, when did you come to Toronto with the intention to start a business, or you just came to Toronto to say, I'm going to start just something new, just something fresh?
Yeah, so I always kind of wanted to start businesses. Like ever since I was a kid, I had sold like water balloons to my friends during the summer kind of thing. And I think it was maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I started my first business. I was selling products on Amazon, which it didn't go very well. I ended up losing a bunch of money. It was a great learning experience. But coming to Toronto, I knew I wanted to start another business. At that point, I felt kind of stuck, and that's why I looked for like a fresh place to start new. Like I could be whoever I want to be, do whatever I want to do, get out of that typical routine I had before. So no, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do when I came here, but 100% I came with the intentions of, I'm going to start a business. It's going to be successful. If this, I'll go on to the next one. And that's kind of what I've done since I got here. I mean, I had 2 what we'll call failed businesses before this one now, since I've been here. So as you can probably tell, I like starting new things and doing them spontaneously. But yeah, so it's ever since I got here and I landed, I've just been like hustling. I've been trying to figure out what my niche is, what I'm passionate about, what I want to go for. And it's kind of funny how everything came around full swing, because that first Amazon business was selling fitness equipment or like a sports product. And everything I had learned from that first business, I'm using now, and it's helped me like grow very, very quickly in my industry. So even though like we were talking about, like you see something as a failure, it's like I would never be where I'm at in this business if I hadn't done that first business 6 or 7 years ago.
So wait a second. So, and this just helps me to understand this. You're going to leave BC, come to Toronto. It's the 6, it's the New York of Canada. You're going to figure your way out and get to the top of this, food chain. Did you come with like, bags of money? Were you given, a big check to say, go figure everything out and we have you covered? What was happening there?
No, I did not come with a big bag of money. I came, full transparency, I came with about 50 grand in debt. I had previously gone through a bankruptcy to clear out my personal debt from when I was younger. Being a businessman, like sometimes you need a fresh start as well. So was I like, I don't know, like a carbon copy of the ideal person who wants to come to a new city and start a business with a whole bunch of money? No, I was coming from rock bottom in my life, and rock bottom is usually when I start like everybody else, working harder, like making decisions, telling yourself, I never want to be here again. And I really use that as like my jet fuel, you can call it, to like take off, keep going, and just find a way around it. And if I didn't have that experience, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily would have worked as hard as I did. So no, I didn't come here with bucket loads of money. I didn't know anybody when I moved here. I had 2 acquaintances. I just really wanted a fresh start, somewhere where I was away from all the other external sources I had in Vancouver, came to Toronto and just started building my life.
That's pretty well. And thanks for sharing that part of it, because we often talk about and we glamorize the success, right? And we don't often see some of those failures in the past and so forth. And I know Colin and definitely myself, we've had, similar failures that, build us up and everything else. And, when you get to start a new venture like this, that it, not to say it can't get any worse, but what I think the new set of lenses or the new glasses that you get to look at it from is, this is going to succeed because I know how not to succeed. Right. And now I'm going to do everything to see this venture through. And I think that's commendable. And I can't think of any or many business success stories that don't have the failures along with it. Right.
Yeah, man. I mean, you probably heard the saying, like, what is it? The master has failed more times than like the Padawan even tried or something.
Yeah. Okay. So let's kind of circle back to what your venture is at the moment and the success, I can't even speak if I could say it, success that you're getting and seeing today. And it's within the fitness industry. And of course, over the last year or so, people have looked for various ways to enhance their fitness. And talk to us a little bit about how you landed on that was going to be what propelled you and your business forward, and how you serve that industry.
Yeah, so how it kind of started out was like a year ago or so. Gyms were, of course, still closed in Ontario. We're one of the main provinces where gyms have always been closed. Other places, they've been fluctuating a bit, but here they've been constantly closed. And so I was buying myself a pair of dumbbells off of Facebook Marketplace. And I noticed that like everything was astronomically priced. Like it was ridiculous. And so the guy I was buying from was selling a whole bunch of dumbbells, but for really good prices. And I was like, why don't I take $200, buy an extra pair, see if I can flip it, make like $50 or something. So I started doing that. So my initial investment into this business was $200. And so I just kept taking the profits. I was like, okay, why don't I buy a couple more?
Okay, hang on, time out, Colin and listeners. You're right. So we're always in the real estate industry. So you're buying and flipping just as we would in the real estate industry. I love it, dude. Keep going, man. Yeah.
I mean, houses a little bit bigger to flip, but same general idea. Better profit margins for sure, man. But yeah, I mean, I just kept buying and flipping. And then I remember at one point, I was selling them out of my condo. My girlfriend was like, I was driving her crazy, man. I had like 20 boxes of dumbbells like against the walls, and we live in 550 square feet. It is cozy. We're actually moving in 2 weeks to something bigger, but so I had boxes like stacked along the walls everywhere in this place, and people were meeting me outside the condo. I was going to sell it to them. I bought myself a dolly, like my first piece of office equipment. Nice. And then eventually, I have a huge parking lot next to my building. I rented a U-Haul. And then I filled the U-Haul with dumbbells, and I was selling dumbbells out of the back of a U-Haul in this parking lot beside my building, sometimes at like 10 p.m. at night in the dark, really, really sketchy stuff. But then I just took all of the money that I made, I invested it into like a website, into a fulfillment center, importing products so I could get much more affordable prices. And then that really allowed me to come in and offer my clients really, really affordable equipment. Like my whole idea was I want to make good quality equipment affordable and accessible for the average Canadian. Because looking at the prices that there were before, it was just ridiculous. People were charging like $4 a pound for weights when they were $1.50 before. And so I made sure to like price everything really affordably. And I think that's part of my success. Like I say, like I'm not in the fitness industry. I'm in the customer service industry. I love working with my clients. Every single one of my clients, and you can ask them if you ever meet them. First thing they get from me when they order is a text message, thanking them so much, telling them if they ever need anything, pick up the phone, call me, don't bother, send me an email. I'll get back to them right away. And so kind of using that customer service as well as like, I guess, good timing with COVID, a lot of stubbornness to keep going and keep growing has like, yeah, my business has accelerated quicker than I would think. I'm very grateful for COVID, but I still wish it wasn't here. But while it is here, business is doing quite good.
Well, now that's awesome. Before you jump in there, Colin, there's that old saying out there, there's always opportunity in chaos.
Absolutely.
Right, buddy?
Absolutely. Yeah. And with that being said, Gary, because so many of us, and you know me, I like delving into the mindset of why people do what they do. So many of us will see that opportunity and just say, okay, somebody else will pick up on it. But that hunger inside of you to say, okay, right now I'm not working, I don't have a job. There's this fire that is burning inside of me to create my own business. I'm going to start buying dumbbells and flipping them. And then it went from, let me buy an extra one, make $50 on that, to a U-Haul truck full of dumbbells.
I love that part of it, by the way.
Thank you. Now the guy business has exploded in less than 2 years. That is next level. What inside of you is pushing you to just keep going? Because most people will say, okay, they flipped 2 or 3 dumbbells. Oh, I made $1,000. Okay, this is going to pay for groceries or rent for the month. What made you decide I'm going to turn this into business?
I mean, besides my girlfriend being like, yo, man, you got to either get a job or have a successful business coming up here.
There it is.
I mean, I think we all want the same thing out of life. You want to do something that you love, like if it's something you're passionate about, you never work a day in your life. And everything else I'd always tried to do wasn't really like fulfilling for me, or I didn't enjoy as much. And I think one of the reasons I stayed with this was because I love the fitness industry. Like, I've worked out since I was 15 years old at the gym. My uncle used to compete like throughout Canada. I have a lot of friends that are personal trainers. So I've been in this industry and I know the people and I enjoy the people. Like, when you help a customer who is currently like, they're like a huge fitness aficionado and they can't work out during COVID by giving them dumbbells, I'm a hero to them. Like, you should see like some of like the text message I get from clients. Like, I don't even talk to my girlfriend that romantically. Like, people are like, oh, these dumbbells have changed my life. Like, I can't believe how happy I am with it. I wasn't working out. And, it's like, that's kind of my driving factor, is the fact that my customers are so awesome. And truthfully, I'm a very lazy person at heart, or I want to be lazy. So I've built my business in a way where the only thing that I have to do in it right now is get to interact with my customers. I don't have to ship my inventory. I don't have to see my inventory. All I get to do is deal with these awesome people. And so that's really been my whole driving force this entire time.
That's really cool. Awesome. And I love that you brought the laziness into this conversation, because that's where Colin and I are definitely on the opposite. And I've always had this theory, and I've heard it said before, not, lazy is kind of a derogatory word sometimes. However, Colby, often leaders will give tasks to the so-called lazy people because they know that they will get to the finish line the fastest. Right? Because
I love that.
They'll go through all of this and they're going to figure out that direct line. Okay, I got to get this accomplished and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to go to there. And it's interesting to see those two different types of personalities work with each other, right?
You nailed it on the head, man. My favorite saying, like ever since I was a kid, is you give the laziest person the hardest job, they'll find the quickest way to do it. And that has always been me, man. That's always been me. Yeah. And like Colin can speak like what Tony taught us about how you want your business and not an operator. I think too many people are preaching like working 23-hour days, like hustle and bustle. But do what you're good at. Don't waste your time on all the nitty gritty that's going to waste your like fill up your day when you could be doing something that's much more productive. Hire a team to support you, or do things that you don't necessarily want to do.
And that is exactly what you've done. You've leveraged so much of it. So all you're focusing on is the most important thing, which is being in communication with your clients, because that communication equals customer service. That customer service equal Mr. Carter is such a great guy. I'm going to tell all my friends and family about him. And now everyone on the block is walking around with dumbbells, as they're outside, right? So is there anything else that you're selling? Is it just dumbbells? What else did you expand beyond just flipping dumbbells?
So we do have, so how I kind of started my online business was my first product was my smaller pair of dumbbells, which is the 52.5 pound. And then I went to the 10 to 90 pound. But I really wanted to come up with like a typical home setup that will get somebody from A to Z, where they can start working out and doing their typical exercises that they would at the gym. So I was like, they also need a good bench. They need a rack for the dumbbells, and they need the rubber gym flooring, because if I destroy these hardwood floors in my condo, my landlord will kill me. So right now I only have 5 products, but one thing that I wanted to focus on was making sure that my 5 products, if I'm going to have such a small product line, they better be phenomenal. Too many people nowadays are selling junk. There's a lot of people selling these dumbbells that are just not to the standard that they should be. So I really wanted to find a manufacturer that was going to specialize in the fitness industry and making the quality of equipment that I need for my customers to get that 5-star review, to get the referrals. Because that's how you grow a business, is if you don't have those referrals, you don't have happy customers, you're really not going to take off. So yeah, I only have 5 products still. But since gyms are potentially opening up soon, I am expanding the product line, because I want my current clients who love their at-home gyms and who want to expand it to have more access to more equipment from me. So I'll be bringing in squat racks, barbells, like the easy curl bars, just kind of like what that next step is for what your workouts would be and what equipment you would want to add at home.
I like it, and I am definitely amongst all that large group last year that put a home gym in, and I feel you, man. Like all of those prices, I could see how that would become an opportunity for you, right? And we didn't even go buy any equipment. We just renovated one of our rooms, put the flooring in, and we looked at those prices and said, "No way, we'll continue to use what we've got." And as you probably have experienced, Colby, is. And this probably the most, you don't need the $20,000 worth of gym equipment. You just need a few items, and that's what you've saw an opportunity, and you said, okay, I'm only going to have 2, 3, 4, now 5 items, and that's it, because that's all you need to have to succeed right at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea that's been driving what products I bring in was, I use everything that I sell. Like I said before, I live in 550 square feet. My gym section, I measured it, is about 8 by 4, 8 feet by 4 feet. That's not meters or anything. It is cozy. It's against the window of my condo. People that say they don't have space to work out, I'm like, yes, you do. If you want to work out bad enough, you will find the space. So yeah, I use all 5 products in my home, because I was like, this is exactly the kind of setup I want. And yeah, man, it's yeah.
Now, help us understand, because now we're looking at it where gyms are being opened. People are going to start by going to, well, the assumption is people are going to start by going to the gym. Do you think with the majority of people who've pivoted to working out from home, they're going to still continue that trend, or they're going to drop it and move back into the gym? Where do you see this the fitness industry going?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the golden question for anybody in the fitness industry right now. And of course, that's been my main driving factor in all my business decisions, is what happens when gyms open up. Your golden goose is kind of gone. But one of the main things I've seen, and with a lot of my clients, people that have started to work out at home, they like working out at home. Going to the gym, especially when there's limitations during COVID, you have to book the gym, you have to go in there, you have to line up before you go in, you might have to wait for a machine, you have to get ready to go to the gym, you have to drive to the gym, drive back home. If you're a busy professional like us, who has only so many hours in the day to spend, when you can bust out a workout, like literally roll out of bed, you can do it in your underwear if you want to, just start working out in your living room. People have really started to become used to working out at home. Like Colin, you saw on Tony Robbins, we had the CEO of Peloton join us on there, and he was talking about the fitness industry. And we really think that there's been a permanent shift and pivot from what it originally was. Yes. Are a lot of people going to go back to the gym? Of course. Like there's that social aspect. There's something motivating about seeing the people there. A lot of people, especially the ones that have invested like hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars into their at-home gym, you don't want to see your bench turn into a coat rack. So people would rather spend another $500 instead of a gym membership onto some more equipment to grow it at home. It's hard to get into a routine. It's a little weird in the beginning because you have your couch right next to you. Netflix is readily available. But as soon as you start working out at home, man, I love it. It takes me an hour to do what I would do in an hour and a half at the gym, minus all the travel time and everything else. That's a lot of extra time in the week that I can spend doing anything else.
Yeah, I love it. I love having our home gym because it doesn't matter what time of day or at 9:30 in the evening is when I like to go down, for instance, and it's right there. It's so easy, accessible, and the big word, convenient, right? Absolutely. Yes. So, Colin, it might be time. What do you think?
It's that time.
It's that time. All right. So Colby's like, what the heck are you talking about? So here's what we like to do, my friend. We're gonna do some rapid fire questions to have some fun here and just kind of goof around. And for our listeners that have seen this segment before, these are all serious questions. No, they are not.
Oh boy.
So
this is a serious conversation with you guys, hey?
That's right. So we got to kick this off the right way. A little bit of music. There we go. So I'm going to ask you some questions. You give us the first answer that comes to your mind, and we'll have some fun with it. All right?
Cool.
All right. Would you rather be texting or talking?
Talking.
All right. Favorite season of the year? Fall. All right. This one's an interesting question. Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
No. As long as you don't bite the head off first.
Okay, so you got to leave the head gets eaten last, then maybe. First celebrity crush.
Ooh, first celebrity crush. I'd have to say Megan Fox when she was in the original Transformers movie. Like I was like a teenager when that came out, and man, I think that put me into puberty.
There you go. Congratulations, by the way. I think. Favorite. Okay, this is a good one. Hence our topic of the day and your business. Favorite junk food.
Oh,
Chips. I like it. And speaking
of
all the
chips, carbs.
Yeah, carb load. That's right. Speaking of chips, carb loading. Is it double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
100% no. Get your nasty mouth away from there.
Get your own cup of dip. Very good. Okay, you've got a dog. Big dogs or small dogs?
Ooh, small dog.
Small dogs. Okay, condo. I get it. Whatever. We can still be friends, though. It's okay. What superpower would you like to have?
Ooh, I would probably say flight.
Flight. I like it. Now, the next two questions are incredibly serious. Name.
I'll put my face on.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that you did. Name one of the 7 dwarfs.
Sorry, you just broke up, brother. Can you repeat that?
Okay. That's just enhancing this question even more than name one of the 7 dwarfs.
Sleepy.
There it is. Yeah, right on cue. By far the leading answer of this very serious quiz. And now the last question, and so okay, my friends, music off for a second. This next question will actually determine whether or not you remain friends with Colin.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. The Godfather or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
we may have just broken up a friendship, but that's okay.
I already knew what the answer was going to be, man, but I got to stick to my guns.
Yeah. And I knew in asking
Like, angry you are not, Colin.
I just knew in asking that question, and age might have been a factor there, that it was going to be Star Wars.
Yeah.
Very good. A little fun we like to have with our guests. That's pretty cool. Thanks for playing along.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think that's like the first test that I finished in a long time or ever did okay on. Entrepreneurs, us in like the education system.
Yeah, exactly.
You tell me in the other direction.
No, and thanks for bringing that up. What were you like in school? Because we know most entrepreneurs, they struggle in the school system, right? Because you have to fit into that mold. What were you like in school?
So, I wish I could have my mom on here to tell you all about my report cards and the comments that I had on there. It's funny because I was just in BC not too long ago, and she still has a bunch of boxes of my stuff from school, and she was going through them because she's like, if you're moving to Toronto, like, you have to bring this stuff over. But another story. My report cards are the comments that I would have in classes. Basically, Colby doesn't shut up. Like, he's always talking to other people. Like, he's the social butterfly. If only Colby would apply himself. If only Colby would study more. Like, I don't know. Like, if you guys ever taken, it's called the Colby assessment. I'm not narcissistic. It's KOLBE. Really, really cool test that actually, like, it's almost like an aptitude test, but it measures how you do, like, how you go into things, like in your business, in your life. And the school system is really built for those people called like fact finders and follow throughs, like the people that like to do research, the people that like a schedule. And that is completely the opposite of me. I'm a quick start. That's like my test. I'm a heavy quick start. Like Colin, you said in the beginning, it's like jumping out of a plane and then forgetting the parachute.
Yeah.
I gotta take a chance here, Colby. Maybe you and I are very similar. I know on my report cards, if I could, get exempt from an exam, it was only like 60%. And I would always strive for that, yeah. Right? I wouldn't strive for the 80. I would always do just enough, just so I wouldn't have to do all that kind of stuff. Because, likewise, I was not. I think our report cards may have been very similar from that perspective.
But it's funny that you say that. Like,
what happened?
Well, it's funny that you say that with the report card that, they're saying Colby doesn't shut up. He's the social butterfly. But right away now I'm looking at it as like, oh, he's a salesperson, right? Like now as adults and as entrepreneurs, we can look back and pick it out. Yo, that kid is going to be a salesperson. They're going to do great at sales because, they're always, because everything is sales, right? So everything. It's interesting that we can make these connections later on in life, but as we're going through them, we're looking at ourselves as failures. And now here it is, a successful businessman who started multiple business. Yes, you've not only failed, but you've learned from those experiences to create a business of where you are today. And you're going to just continue to build and grow on that.
Yeah. Colin, I'm reminded, I wish I could remember, sorry, Colby, I wish I could remember the specific name, but there's that teacher out of the UK that has a couple of TED Talks, and now he's become like the Lord or whatever. And over the years,
Sir something, Sir
Galahad,
yeah, he's a fellow man.
Yeah.
No.
And fellow sir. And he tells this story on how we are failing our children with the education system. And to sum it all up, he tells this story, Colby, of a young girl in class that couldn't sit still. Just couldn't sit still. And she might have been 8 or 9 and just couldn't concentrate on the schoolwork and everything. And then the mom starts taking her to different therapists, psychiatrists. And finally the right guy sits down in front of her. He goes, I know your exact problem. And the mom's like, okay, what? Your daughter's a dancer. And make a long story short, I wish I could remember her name, but she turns out to be one of the world's most finest ballerina dancers that the world has ever seen. And
Wow.
it's really cool, because when you start to figure out like your niche is and where your love is, and helping people, now you get to see, you know, the benefits of your background, your lifestyle, your mindset, and how that gets to affect so many other people, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like,
Absolutely.
I think how we like measure intelligence or like look at kids and what they can do in the future is it's very cookie cutter approach to the education system, right? Like as an entrepreneur, there isn't really anything that's setting us up for the future. Like there's not even like money management courses that they teach you in high school or anywhere. Like that would have saved me a buttload of money when I was younger. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie The Accountant, when they talk about like how you can measure intelligence and how we might be doing it incorrectly. I'm a firm believer in that. Like, we got to look at people in a different way now, and actually, like, you were put on this planet to do what you're best at. Like, call it your gift, call it whatever you want to. Like, there's one thing that you know everybody for in your life, that they excel at one particular area. It's like like that little trait that you're just well known for. And you just have to find a way to like stay in that zone all the time. If you're in that zone, that's when you get your best results. That's when you're happiest. And every time we try to do something else, like if you tell me to do like a 20-page essay on anything, obviously I'm not going to do good. I don't want to sit and write for like 4 hours.
Nice. Okay. Back to the fitness industry and your love for fitness and so forth. I remember years ago I was in a big workshop, in fact, and it was actually all about real estate investing, and they brought up a speaker, and maybe Colin, you were there. I was at the Real Estate Investment Network, and the speaker talked about the importance of not only our mind fitness, right? Because that we often do that a lot, like with the Tony Robbins of the world and things like that. We're always working on ourselves. And her point was, we work on ourselves so much, but we forget about the fitness side of it. What's the use of working on our mind all the time? And I'd love to hear from you just your outlook and the importance that you have in your life on your personal fitness from a body perspective, from a health perspective.
I mean, I think they're one and the same. I mean, like I've dealt with anxiety in my life, and I know anxiety comes from a direct source of me not working out, me not feeling healthy. Like whenever I'm like going to the gym, whenever I'm running, whenever I'm working out at home, whenever I'm doing any sort of physical activity for my body, I feel like my mind is a lot clearer. Like one of the only ways for me to actually like work through a lot of my stress in the day is by picking up something heavy and throwing it around, you know? Like we got to get that frustration out somehow. And like for me, like whenever I'm in like a healthy routine with my body, I feel good about it. I feel more confident in myself. That's when I come up with my best ideas. So I really like, you've heard it a million times, like healthy body, healthy mind. But it goes both ways, you know, like definitely for people like us, like we definitely like to train our mind, go to Tony Robbins events, things like this. But there's a lot of people that still only focus on their physical health as well and don't actually go for that mental health as well. So it really depends kind of like what industry you're looking at. But of course, in the fitness industry, like the body is the main focus for this. But I do it as a direct correlation for a healthy mind.
That's important.
Interesting that you say that. Because I think with COVID, it's allowed people to start looking at themselves. I know in the beginning we're like, okay, we're home, we're going to eat this much. But then people started going out for walks. They started doing more things. You know, we started setting up our home gyms and so on. Now, what is the right way to set up a home gym, right? Because I'm sure there's a right and wrong way. And you with a, 550 square foot condo, you've managed to accomplish that. So how does one go about setting up a home gym so that we can be healthy mentally both and physically?
The main thing kind of comes down to like top two things, space and budget. Like look at how much space you're working with and look at what your budget is and really like stay within there. There's no reason to spend excessive amounts of money unless you want to. If you're the type of person that can dedicate an entire like 500 square foot room in your house to building out a gym, go for it. Like 100% believe in that. If you're like me and you have very limited space and you don't want to like break the bank, then find equipment that's going to work well for you. Like I have my foldable bench right here in front of me, holds up to like 550 pounds, which is more weight than you would ever need, but I can collapse it and like stick it in a corner. So really like figure out what your space is like at home, make that space your gym, figure out what your budget is, and then find the equipment that like matches your lifestyle.
I like it. I like it. And are there certain programs that are better than the others, or is it just a matter of, as we always say, just get out there, so just start doing something? What's your advice around that?
Definitely just start doing something. But one of the great things about COVID is personal training has become very accessible and very affordable. When you were going to the gyms before, the gyms were charging large amounts for personal training, and the personal trainers were only getting a fraction of that. Now with virtual training, personal trainers, like their businesses are booming. They can do everything virtually through Zoom, and they can charge affordable prices while they're still making more money, but they'll get more clients because you don't have to pay like $80, $90 an hour or something crazy. You can find a personal trainer now for $30, $40 an hour, which is very, very affordable for even the average person if you just want it once, twice, 3 times a week, whatever budget. So yeah, I mean, you can get started by just moving and doing everything. But if you do need help and you need that extra push for motivation, like even I do sometimes, like think about getting a personal trainer now. Look at what your options are. Like it will never be a better time to get that sort of assistance for a more like than a better value than there is right now.
Yeah, no, that's good. And you're right. There's so many options out there too. And I love how this is just provided, like this past year has provided, so many different platforms for people to support each other with. Like, I think it's pretty amazing, actually.
Like, but look at how much the industry have changed, right? Like we started seeing now, because before when I started with my home gym was everything Bowflex and all the big clunky stuff, right? And I love Bowflex because I don't know, I just like the bands in it. But now we started to see the way Peloton took off, right? Peloton took off with, okay, you have someone and they're gonna, you're a part of this group, this tribe, this community, and we're gonna ride every morning at 8 a.m. And then you start seeing the mirror, which there's almost a virtual coach there. So this time that we've seen over the last year and a half has really accelerated the change in the fitness industry. What are your thoughts on that?
It's changed dramatically. I mean, you're looking at every single fitness business and how they had no choice but to pivot. You look at gyms and like they can't charge their people gym memberships anymore because they're not going in, but they're offering like free online classes. I know my girlfriend absolutely loves to do yoga. So for Valentine's Day, I just hung this bar across our roof. And I got her like this tapestry drape and a couple heaters so she could have her own hot yoga room. But yoga is even done online now. And I know her yoga studio, they actually have like parking lot yoga since they can't be inside yet. So really like everything in the industry, no matter what you like to do, like it could be yoga, it could be spin class, it could be going to the gym, some way or another, it's been made much more accessible and it's completely different than what it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. And a lot of those companies like the Peloton and so forth, or Les Mills, for instance, and that's one of the programs that we use here in our house. So let's circle back to kind of how we started here. Customer service and appreciating your customers and giving them an absolutely amazing experience. That's all they've been able to do, in a sense. Not all, but that's what they focus on, is providing such an amazing experience, right? And what I'm getting from you, Colby, is that's the type of service you love providing your clients, in a sense, is that amazing experience.
Yeah, like right now, like it's mostly like customer service experience. One thing that I really want to work towards in the next 6 months to a year is an actual experience, where like you could potentially use our equipment, or there might be something happening where you can get some personal training, be part of our community. But I guess you guys will have to wait and see what's in the pipeline.
I like it. I like it. I think there's some hints dropped along in there, but I like
Yes.
it. Very good. Very good. So this whole time, if you've been watching on screen, you can see your Instagram handle there. But before we sign off on here, what are the couple of different ways that people can get a hold of you, Colby?
Simply just send me a message. You can follow us on Instagram, direct message. My cell phone number is listed on our website, www.movementsports.ca. Really, any way you want. I'm always on my phone. I'll probably get back to you within 10 minutes tops, but I'm completely open to it. I mean, my customers message me in every single format. So, and I have given your listeners, your guys' clients, 10% off of all our equipment as a thank you for having me on here. And I would really love to pick up the phone, call me, tell me what your kind of space you're looking with, tell me what you want help with, and I would love to get them all set up.
Awesome. So we'll
So
make sure
now
all
when
that...
Go ahead,
my
there,
friend.
Gary.
Okay, I was just going to say we'll make sure all that information is in the show links and everything else like that. Go ahead, Colin.
Perfect. Yeah, is there a special promo code or anything that they should be using for a limited time, or all of that is going to be in the
Black and white 10.
Black. What was that?
We can throw it into the description. Black and white 10.
Black and white 10. There you have it, folks. See?
Okay.
It does make sense to be a benefit, or you do have benefits of being a black and white member, whatever that means.
Yes.
Our tribe, man. Our tribe. There we go.
Yes.
Here we go. And Movement Sports is MVMNT Sports. Is it .com.ca? Sorry.
.ca. We're Canadian owned, operated, only work within Canada. You guys are the people we love to work with.
There you have it. Love it.
Nice,
Beautiful.
Nice.
Colin, over to you to sign off here and to thank Colby. Yeah.
That was truly amazing. Thank you for being so, vulnerable with us, sharing your history with us, what it's like to, just get out there and take action. Because I know so many of the times, we look and we want to make that change. We know there's more inside of us, but there's that fear. And you're a great example of how we just need to step outside that fear and watch the beauty of everything unfold. So it was just a privilege and an honor to have you share this last hour with us. Truly appreciate it. For myself here and Gary from the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast, it's a true honor to all our listeners. Guys, thank you. Colby, looking forward to seeing you succeed beyond all your wildest dreams, man.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Very good. We'll see everybody on the next show. And of course, you can always listen to us on your favorite podcast player of choice. We'll see everybody. Bye for now.